Hi and welcome back to this video series on buy-to-let investing in 2023. So this is the third video in the series, and if you've not watched the other two videos, it might be worth just going back and watching those first. But this video we're going to be concentrating on mortgages, loan to values and leverage, and just kind of diving a little bit into what those are. So effectively, when most people investing in property, they're probably going to be using a mortgage to buy the property with. And generally, they get what's known as an interest-only mortgage, which is effectively, effectively when you're paying the mortgage back, what you're doing basically is paying the interest only on the mortgage, not actually paying anything of the capital. So basically, the mortgage is made up of generally made up of two parts. It's made up of the capital, so the amount of money that you've actually borrowed, and then it's actually made up of the interest element as well. Now, when you take those out, you can generally choose whether you wanted an interest-only mortgage or a capital repayment mortgage. The reason most of us as property investors would go for interest-only is because we make cash flow as it kind of goes along. If we're paying the capital down as we're going, it'd be very difficult to make the rental income actually cover the mortgage payments and the interest payments as well. So let's just jump onto a whiteboard, and I'll show you some numbers around this. A little bit deeper into mortgages and how that works, and what a worked example of leverage and loan to value looks like. So let's say you were looking to purchase a property let's say it was 100,000 purchase price. Now, as we said before, there's a difference between the value and the purchase price. Now, let's just say the purchase price is £100,000, and the purchase price is generally what banks and commercial lenders will use to lend against. So let's say they're going to lend you 75% of the value of that purchase price. Okay, so they're going to lend you 75,000, and the value is 100,000. So your loan to value is 75%, and that's where that figure comes from. Now, in order to purchase this property, you've got to put the deposit in. So you've got to put the difference. So obviously, there's a 25 grand difference between obviously between the 100k and the 75. So you've got to introduce the 25k, and that is going in effectively as the deposit. So you're going to introduce the £25,000 as the deposit. Now, what's really interesting, where this gets really interesting from a property point of view, is something called leverage. So let's sort of explain what I mean by leverage. So let's just write. Let's put leverage up here. Okay. So what I mean by leverage, it's not a very straight line, but you get the idea. Is you're putting £25,000 deposit in, the bank is putting the £75,000 loan in, but you're getting the total value of the property. So you're getting the increase in any value of the £100,000. Now let's compare that to another investment. Let's just say you've got £25,000 you want to put into another investment. So let's say you take the 25k. And you go and buy some shares with it. Okay. Now, let's say that both investments, let's say the property value and the shares, let's say they both go up by 10% in a year, so per annum. So let's say they both go up by 10%. So after year one, the value of these shares is going to be 27,500 because they've gone up by 10%. So 10% of 25,000 is 2,500. So that's the value increase. So the total value now of the shares, the new value is 27,500 because you just add the increase onto the original. So in this scenario, you've made £2,500. Let's have a look at the property scenario. So you've got a property that's worth £100,000. It's going to go up by 10%. That property is now worth £110,000. Okay, so your value of your property effectively has gone up by 10 grand. Whereas in this scenario, it only went up by 2,500. So you've still put the same amount in, but you've just made 10 grand. So you've put £25,000 in, and you've made 10,000. So if you wanted to work out what your return on investment was, you'd take the 10,000 and divide it by the 25,000, so that's your original figure. So if you do 10,000 divided by 25,000 and multiply it by 100, is 40%. So you've made a 40% return on your original investment. On the stocks and shares side of things, you've made 2,500 on an investment of 25. So it's pretty much 10%, isn't it? So if you take if you wanted to kind of just look at how you actually figure that out, you do 2,500 divided by 25,000 times 100 equals 10%. So by using leverage, you're not just making 10% return, which is what you were doing here. Yeah, both investments have gone up by the same amount, but rather than just making 10%, you've actually made a 40% return. And that's why property can be great for investing, because you're leveraging your original pot. And the other thing to mention just here is, we're just talking about the increase in the value. So this would kind of be the value of the asset. What we haven't included in this example is the rental income as well, because obviously, you're not going to just leave this property sat alone doing nothing. You're actually going to rent the property out as well. So you should be making a profit on the rental income as well. So that's going to be something that we'll dive into in the next video. Okay, I hope that's been of interest. Thanks for watching. All the best.